After the monstrous level success of Elden Ring, we all expected a lot of Souls-like in the years to come, and this year was quite special with games like Lies of P, Lords of the Fallen, Wolong Fallen Dynasty, Remnant 2, and this trend ended on a high with two brilliant Metroidvania-style Souls-like in Last Faith and Blasphemous 2. However, 2024 promises to be extra hot for Souls like, so much so that we're gonna be spoiled for choices. I mean, I had a hard time narrowing it down to just top 10, and these games on paper look bigger, better, more Souls like than their counterpart from this year. So, let's begin. Kicking this off at number 10, Daba Land of the Water Scar. Indie developer Darkstar will be releasing this Dark Souls inspired Souls like made in Unreal Engine 5, and from the trailer and from everything that the devs have spoken about this game, it looks and feels a lot like Dark Souls. So what about the story? Well, the world is on the verge of collapse. The puppet's mission, that's you, is to trace the elusive water fragments scattered across an ancient city, with formidable challenges in the form of bosses and world design, similar to that of Dark Souls, and of course, inevitable deaths in true FromSoft traditions. Coming up at number 9, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Now, this game was originally going to release in 2023, but yeah, you know what? If it's not ready, do not release it. We learned a lot from Cyberpunk 2077, right? But I'm still quite excited about this game, mainly because it comes from the makers of Ashen. Flintlock is an action RPG with a Souls-like currency system in which you gain reputation by killing enemies, lose it all if you die. Also, you fight alongside a sidekick. Yeah, who doesn't like a sidekick? Who teleports around and nips at the enemies you're hacking and slashing. Up next at number 8, Chrono Odyssey. It's a fantasy MMORPG which revolves around an organization called Erdtree, and they're waging a war against the gods. The settings of this game is in an open world called Cetera, and in true Souls-like fashion, there are different classes that you can choose from. But what really caught my attention is that in this game, you can manipulate time and space. Yeah, you'll be able to stop time, rewind time, and even, yeah, get this, explore other timelines. Wow. I am so keeping my fingers crossed on this one. Number 7. Project Relic is a Souls-like action game from a Korean studio called Project Cloud Games. This developer has taken From Software's dark and gloomy atmosphere and, and added some flashy effects, as you can see in the trailer, such as this player's weapon colliding against the opponent's armor, resulting in bright red sparks flying across the screen. Also, like in other Souls game traditions, it has PvP as well. Now, the game at number 6 is going to surprise many, but this just shows how strong the top 5 contenders are. Rise of the Ronin. Now, this game comes from the same studio which made Neo, so you understand the hype surrounding this. This game to me looks like a Sekiro and a Ghost of Tsushima love child. Based on 19th century Japan, this game is an open world RPG. Amidst the chaos of war, disease, a nameless warrior forges his own path, holding the very fate of Japan in his own hands. Now, coming to the business end of this list, and I believe each one on the list has the potential to be the game of the year of 2024, and all 5 can beat the best Souls-like of this year. At 5, we have Phantom Blade Zero. This one has a very interesting story. So, this year's PlayStation Showcase revealed tons of highly awaited titles, from Spider-Man 2 to Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. However, one game truly captured players' hearts, and that was Phantom Blade Zero. It features a dark, bleak aesthetic paired with hyper-fast hack and slash action. It's quite reminiscent of games like Wolong Fallen Dynasty, Sekiro, and Neo. But it does offer a slightly different take on this genre with a much more closer camera and more cinematic art style. However, my biggest takeaway from this game is that it works on producing relatively authentic kung fu fighting techniques, and I cannot wait to see what moves we can pull off as we progress into the game. Now down to number 4, this is the first Souls-like that's going to release in 2024, so the hype and excitement is at another level. With less than a month for its release, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So, Fighting Cowboy and some other big YouTubers were given a chance to get some initial gameplay, and he released a short video on his channel, and this game looks absolutely breathtaking. I would say even better than Blasphemous 2. Does it play better? Yeah, we'll have to wait for that one. But from what he has to say, this is shaping up to be a masterpiece. Prince of Persia needs no introduction. First game released in 1989, and since then it has become an icon and movies being made on them. The story of this one takes place in a cursed city of Mount Off, and you play as Sargon, a warrior of the clan called Immortals, and you have to traverse the city to rescue a prince. Being a Metroidvania, I'm sure the map is going to have different layers, so there'll be lots to discover, secrets to find, and new fancy gear to try. But what excites me the most is what kind of powers you're going to discover on your journey and what bosses you will come across. Ubisoft and Prince of Persia has had a really rough time recently, so I'm really rooting for them and to see them rise from the ashes again. It's a great redemption story if it turns out to be a great game. Coming to top 3 at number 3, Dragon Dogma 2. If you have already played Dragon Dogma 1, this title needs no introduction. However, if you are new to this, you do not have to worry. This game has no connection to the previous game, except of course the core gameplay, which is very unique. So what is this core gameplay? Well, one is the pawn system. It is a team-based play. You can have up to 3 pawns in battle with you. These pawns, yeah, they are smart, they are AI controlled, and they are quite fun to see how they behave while fighting monsters. And you can even command them what to do. And the other cool mechanic is the grab system, where you can climb these giant sized monsters, and to add to that, each of these creatures have a unique style and even unique behavioral patterns. I mean, if I start talking about this game, it's going to be a very long video. So before I get carried away, number 2, Black Myth Wukong. So the hype surrounding this is only second to the winner of this list, which says quite a lot actually. Now, even though the game has been in the news for a very long time, very little is actually known regarding the main story. So this game is an adaptation of a legendary Chinese novel called Journey to the West. So even though we don't know much about the game's story outside of this, it's clear that the characters, bosses, environments, and even the enemies all take direct inspiration from this novel. So you play the role of Sun Wukong, also known as the Monkey King, and he wields a magical black iron staff. But that's not all, he has several other powers as well, such as transforming into animals or mythical creatures, becoming a furious giant monkey to face tougher foes. His staff can expand and contract at will, and even spells that hold your opponents in one place. I have never been this hyped for a Soulsborne game after Elden Ring. Talking of which, our number 1. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Interestingly, just as I was making this video, there is an explosive leak that suggests that the game might release as early as February, which would be insane to say the least. And even though FromSoft have been quite tight-lipped on this game, I have made this video where I travel across time through different FromSoft DLCs to decode what we can expect from Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. And if that's something that interests you, I'll link that video in the description below. So that's it folks. Did I miss something? Maybe you wanted to see Soulsframe in this list or something else. Whatever it is, let me know. And if you like what you see and if you want to see more, a like and a subscribe would be simply lovely.